What's up? This is Ryan with One Board Family, and in this video I'm going to try to rehab some of the lines in our most used Binho board. Now, if you're not familiar with this dexterity tabletop soccer game, Binho is essentially finger soccer for two players. This game gets a ton of play in our house. It's one of our favorite dexterity games. And so this is my very first board. This is the Green Turf Edition board from BinhoBoard.com. And between 400 and 500 plays of this board, the lines have kind of gotten worn away. And so instead of going out and getting another board, I wanted to see if I could rehab some of the lines, make them a little darker, kind of touch them up a little using an oil-based paint pen. Now, this is from CraftSmart. We actually picked this one up from our local Michael's. It was around $4.50. This is an extra fine tip, and so I'm going to check out and see if this is going to be a good use of this pen as I try to rehab some of the lines on this Green Turf board. Hopefully it's successful, and if it is, I'm going to be going to my classic blackboard and rehabbing some of those lines also. So let's jump to the table. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start by trying my hand at doing one of these corners. So I'm taking out the pegs that hold in the bands at the corners of the board. And as you can see, like some of the lines have held up better than others. Obviously, the side lines have held up better because they're right there at the band and they're not going to see the most traction. But the line, definitely the area in the kickoff at the center of the pitch is pretty worn away. But I'm going to start with one of these corners to see if this is going to be a suitable option. And I'm going to also see what the drying time is. So if you've ever used one of these paint pens right here, so the first thing that you're going to do is actually open the paint pen. And it's not going to be primed at first. So you have to prime paint pens by pushing it in a couple times to kind of get the paint to flow. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a couple defenders too, because I want to have the space to do a decent little semicircle here. So because this turf is high, I'm going to just kind of touch it lightly. With this being a higher turf, it's going to have to sit kind of on the top of this green mat. And so I'm just going around and just gently touching it. I want to also check to make sure that the paint is flowing. So I'm going to go dab it off on something else. All right, that looks pretty solid right there. So with that, let's go along this side. Let me get a straight edge. Actually, this should work right here. Let me take the net out along with this other pin and see if this is going to be solid enough. Let me move this over a little so you can see. And you can see right over here where the goal is. I mean, it looks great. The lines look great over there. But you can see that it's been worn away everywhere else that the ball is. And so that looks pretty solid right there. Let's get a straight edge on here. I'm going to use the side of this box. This is super boring, but hey, this is what happens when you make a YouTube video. All right, let's see. Just going to come along this edge. Let's see if I can make sure. I don't know that this is the best size for this, but I think that it's the smallest, and so it kind of allows me some screw up space. And that's why I got this size in particular. So it's going to take me a little while, but I think I'd rather have the affordance of like the line, having to go over the line a couple times, than going over the line a single time and it being kind of jacked up or janky. So let's see. It looks like it's coming off nicely. And so I will, when I finish this edge, I'm going to look at the two, you know, to see how it, the before and the after, to see how it came out. All right. You also have to be careful. You don't want to screw up the matting. It's kind of like a carpet. You don't want too much tugging of the fibers. And so I got to be cautious with that. Like I said, I am just trying this out. So, you know, if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, you get to watch me fail on YouTube. And that's pretty fun. You can share it with all your friends and tell them, don't do this. So, all right. So let's step back and take a look. That looks a lot better. I'm worried about tugging too hard on the fibers and loosening that stuff up. So I'm going to dab. I'm actually going to dab the paint pen into those spaces that look a little thinner. And so we'll see how that does. I've got a straight ruler that I can use, a better tool for the other edges, but I want to get some of this down to see if this is a suitable way to do it. And I may actually go for a larger paint pen size, but from what I'm seeing, it looks significantly better. And so you can see the numbers and stuff have pretty much worn off. This one, when I first got it, was kind of struggling in the first place, but with hundreds of plays on this board, it is like those numbers are barely even there. And so I think that even though I went with the ultra fine, I wonder if going with a larger paint pen would make this a little more efficient. But I feel like that is pretty solid right there. It goes right up to this goal line. I feel like the white matches pretty well with that one. Let's go with this line right here. Let me see if I can kind of rehab this line. Just kind of dabbing it. And eventually I will do the whole board. But for this demonstration, like, let's just do a small space, you know, to make sure that it works. And then also look at the drying time, because I don't know what this oil-based paint pen, I don't know what the drying time is on it. Okay. Being careful not to screw up too many of the fibers on the turf and getting them poking up, but I think that looks a lot better. You can see the difference between this line right here and the line that I haven't done that's going across the front of the goal. I think that's pretty solid right there. Okay, just a couple lessons learned after relining just one side of the pitch. I did one side, I haven't done the other yet, and I haven't gotten to the middle, but I think that I've got a better understanding of how this works. I would absolutely stick with a very fine oil-based marker. Part of the reason why is because if you got anything thicker than that, I think it would be very hard to correct if you went wide or went out of the line just a little. This one, just taking your time and having a little bit of patience, you can kind of correct yourself if you get off track just a little. The other thing that I would do is I would look for any stray threads or anything that is coming off the mat or that has been on the mat, whether it's a hair or something like that. Clean the space first, because one of the things I noticed as I was going, I would find a loose thread and it would grab to the marker and it would make it just a little more frustrating. Definitely clean your board first before attempting this to kind of rid yourself of any stray threads that you're going to run into as you are relining it. I actually feel like it looks pretty good. I'm going to continue to do the rest of this board because my black board is a different material. I'm probably going to wait a little while before doing the that board, but I'm going to finish up this green turf board, and I think it looks really good. Wait about an hour after relining, and you should be good. It seems very dry after an hour, and so I would even wait overnight to play on it if you can do that. So that's about it. So hopefully this was helpful if you were looking to reline your Binho board. I love playing on this thing, and having it relined and having more definite lines is definitely going to help. We run tournaments on this thing. We play as a family all the time. So this is going to just improve the quality of play even more. So thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribed to this channel, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.